Plaster All. Apologies to Plaster All of Mr. Crane in the dial. I who live in the fourth dimension, on the third story of a not unfashionable house, in a fashionable neighborhood, with pictures of Bill Sommer hung on the wall, and an occasional one by myself. That one, the woman's uplifted face, for instance, my best, I think. A miraculous stroke, unthinkingly executed, but Willie Lescaze liked it. Lescaze, smearing the butter on one's bread with the supreme unction of a third-rate director of a fourth-rate playhouse, discoursing the pros and cons of art somewhere in a bookshop, in the Taylor Arcade, smiling to the ladies with bobbed hair, and occasionally to the gentlemen. How I hate that type. Hate it, with the consistence of a hard substance, despising a piece of fluidity. Yes, I know, most of the Spittle Review crowd, but something money, no doubt, drew me to Cleveland, to the home of Crane's Candies, Mary's Garden Chocolates, and Laukup's bookshop. Here it was that in the light of an interpreter, soon I met and succeeded in surrounding myself with a few of the intelligentsia that Cleveland affords: Loveman, Summer, Lescaze, Hatfield. Went there, but Loveman left the fold early. Pity, yes. I might have made much of him, in spite of his Hebraism, which sibilantly whispered I did not recognize, even on my mother's hearsay. But there was much of the rebel, inborn and instinctive, as in all Jews, in Loveman. And so, after a perfectly wild argument with him, one lovely night, late July, with the syringas in full blossom, on 115th Street, we parted, to meet no more, at least as friends. And so, realizing, after all, as I did, and so many before me, Maxwell, Bodenheim, T.S. Eliot, Margaret Anderson, Sherwood Anderson, no relations, James Joyce, Ezra Pound, and how many others, even less than myself, that what it all amounts to, in life as in literature, is form, not emotion, not poetry, not beauty, but the hard, visible outline. Dave Gordon, I can hardly control myself when I think of him, asserted Loveman, which, in a fit of epilepsy, or delirium, Loveman seconded that my work, my own, was a shade of T.S. Eliot's, who was a shade of Jules Laforgue. Ridiculous, stupid, ridiculous. Men of genius are all derivative. Shakespeare, for instance, has even as much influenced, internally as externally, T.S. Eliot. The wind wails around the corner of Euclid and 115th Street. The trees shiver like brass or cymbals of some such metal. It rains and then it ceases, but I, seated on my Aztec carpets, am playing Debussy on the wheezy Victrola. What rhythms, conjured for myself an entire world made of myself, by myself, for myself, knowing myself to be myself. What we are beyond help. What we are beyond, above, and below. What we are above, within, and without. If I'm not for myself, why should I shout?